London, a sprawling metropolis on the cusp of a new century, a beacon of progress and innovation. Yet, beneath the veneer of Victorian grandeur, a darkness stirred in its underbelly. The year is 1888. The fog, a constant companion to the city's inhabitants, takes on a new, sinister quality in the district of Whitechapel. Here, amidst the labyrinthine alleyways and gaslit streets, fear has become a palpable presence, for a predator stalks these streets, a phantom preying on the most vulnerable of society, his hunting ground, the dimly lit corners and shadowy passages of Whitechapel, his victims, women eking out a precarious existence in the East End's slums, his name a chilling whisper on the lips of every Londoner, Jack the Ripper. The nightmare began on August 31st, 1888. The discovery of a woman's body, brutally slain, sent shockwaves through the community of Whitechapel. Mary Ann Polly Nichols, her throat slashed, her body bearing the marks of a frenzied attack. The East End was no stranger to crime, but this was different. This was not simply a robbery gone wrong, but a killing of unparalleled savagery. The newspapers, eager for a story, reported the details with a mixture of horror and morbid fascination. Fear, like a virus, began to spread through the overcrowded streets. Women, particularly those forced to walk alone at night, lived in terror of becoming the next victim. The killer, however, remained elusive, a phantom lurking in the fog. Then, just over a week later, on September 8th, another body was discovered. Annie Chapman, found in Hanbury Street, bore even more horrific injuries. The brutality of the attack sent a chill down the spines of even the most hardened police officers. September 30th, 1888, a date forever etched in the annals of criminal history. For on this night, the fiend who stalked Whitechapel unleashed a night of unimaginable horror, claiming 2 victims in a single blood-soaked spree. The first, Elizabeth Stride, was discovered in Berner Street shortly after 1 a.m. Her throat had been cut with the same chilling precision as the previous victims, yet her body bore no other mutilations. Had the killer been interrupted? Just over an hour later, the mutilated body of Catherine Eddowes was found in Mitre Square. The savagery inflicted upon her surpassed even the Ripper's previous atrocities. Her body was grotesquely disfigured, her kidneys surgically removed. The audacity of the crimes, the sheer brazenness of committing 2 murders in such a short span of time, sent shockwaves through London and beyond. November 9th, 1888. Dawn broke over London, casting a pale light on the cobbled streets of Whitechapel, but in a small room at 13 Miller's Court a scene of unimaginable horror lay hidden. Mary Jane Kelly, a young woman just 25 years of age, had become the Ripper's final victim. The night before she had been seen alive, her vibrant spirit offering a flicker of warmth in the bleak existence of the East End. Little did she know the shadows held a darkness more profound than any London fog. The killer, emboldened by weeks of unchecked terror, had claimed her in the supposed safety of her own room. The brutality visited upon Mary Jane Kelly surpassed even the Ripper's previous acts. Her mutilated body, discovered sprawled upon the bed, bore testament to a chilling level of savagery. The killer had taken his time, indulging his darkest impulses. The East End, already cowering in fear, was now paralyzed with terror. Word spread like wildfire through the crowded alleys and gaslit streets. The Ripper, a phantom who had haunted their steps for weeks, had claimed his most tragic victim. The city, once a symbol of imperial might, now trembled before the spectre of a single unknown man. As if the murders themselves weren't terrifying enough, the Ripper injected a new element into his reign of terror communication. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to taunt, to toy with the authorities and the public alike. He became a spectre, haunting the very words printed in newspapers and delivered to police stations. Hundreds of letters, claiming to be from the murderer, flooded in, a macabre fan mail clogging the system meant to stop him. Most were quickly dismissed as hoaxes, the morbid ramblings of attention-seekers eager to insert themselves into the narrative. But amongst the noise, a few letters stood out. The Dear Boss letter, received by the Central News Agency in September 1888, mocked the police's efforts and even provided details of a future murder. Signed with the now infamous moniker Jack the Ripper, this letter would give the killer the name that would forever be etched in history. Another, the Saucy Jackie postcard, arrived shortly after the double murder of Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. Its tone was conversational, almost playful, boasting of the double event, a chilling reminder that they were dealing with a mind that delighted in chaos. These letters, whether genuinely written by the killer or not, became a crucial part of the Ripper's terrifying legacy. The mystery of Jack the Ripper wasn't just the brutality of the crimes, but also the fact that he was never caught. The streets of Whitechapel, a hunting ground for the killer, became a breeding ground for suspicion. Everyone, from the lowliest beggar to the highest echelons of society, fell under the scrutiny of a public desperate for answers. The police, inundated with leads and theories, investigated hundreds of individuals. Each suspect brought their own darkness, their own potential motivations, adding further layers to the already labyrinthine case. But some names resonated louder than others, their stories interwoven with the Ripper's legend. Montague John Druitt, a barrister driven to despair, became a prime suspect after his suicide shortly after Mary Jane Kelly's murder. Had his demons driven him to commit the Whitechapel atrocities? Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber known for his volatile behavior and paranoia, attracted suspicion due to his hatred of women and his confinement to an asylum shortly after the murders ceased. Then there was the haunting possibility, whispered in hushed tones, that the killer moved in far more privileged circles. Sir William Gull, physician to Queen Victoria, became the subject of conspiracy theories, his name forever linked to the Ripper, through whispers of royal cover-ups and illicit affairs. The Whitechapel murders, already shrouded in darkness, were soon engulfed by a different kind of beast, the insatiable hunger of the press. Newspapers, sensing a story that would grip the nation, descended upon the East End like vultures, their headlines growing bolder, their stories more sensational with each passing day. The Star, known for its lurid tales, published graphic accounts of the murders, sparing no gruesome detail. Their illustrations, though crude, captured the public's imagination, etching the image of a shadowy figure, Jack the Ripper, onto the consciousness of Londoners. The Times, though more restrained, provided detailed coverage of the investigation, fueling the public's desire for answers. Every twist and turn, every dead end, every theory and suspicion was laid bare for public consumption, adding fuel to the fire of fear that now burned through the city. The Illustrated Police News, with its macabre sketches and sensationalized reports, brought the horrors of Whitechapel into homes across the country. The Ripper, once a spectre haunting the East End, had become a national obsession, his name whispered in hushed tones from the darkest alleys to the grandest drawing rooms. The autumn of terror drew to a close, but the spectre of Jack the Ripper continued to loom large. The murders ceased as abruptly as they began, leaving a city bewildered and a police force confounded. Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. Whispers of demonic possession and surgical skill fueled the public's imagination. But amidst the sensationalism, investigators grappled with the cold, hard facts. The precision of the Ripper's work, the anatomical knowledge displayed, hinted at a mind familiar with death. Had he walked among them, disguised as a gentleman, a butcher, or a man of medicine? The lack of a definitive suspect only deepened the mystery. Some speculated that the killer had fled the country, seeking refuge in the anonymity of foreign lands. Others clung to the belief that he remained hidden, sheltered by powerful figures, or lost within the teeming city itself. The truth, however, remained elusive. Jack the Ripper, the Phantom of Whitechapel, had vanished back into the fog, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. The reign of terror may have been brief, but its impact on the world stage was undeniable. The name Jack the Ripper, once whispered in fear on the cobbled streets of Whitechapel, echoed far beyond the confines of London's East End. The Ripper case marked a watershed moment in criminal history, forever changing the way we view and investigate serial killers. It was a stark reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the veneer of civilized society, a darkness that could erupt with terrifying swiftness. The investigation itself, though ultimately unsuccessful, became a blueprint for future generations of detectives. The meticulous gathering of evidence, the study of criminal psychology, the use of media to both inform and engage the public. These were all innovations born out of the desperate hunt for Jack the Ripper. And as the world became increasingly interconnected, the story of the Ripper transcended cultural boundaries, capturing imaginations and inspiring fear on a global scale. His name became synonymous with the darkest impulses of humanity, a chilling reminder of the evil that men do. And so, the story of Jack the Ripper, the Phantom of Whitechapel, continues to captivate and intrigue us. His true identity, lost to the mists of time, remains one of the most enduring mysteries in criminal history. Was he a surgeon, a butcher, a madman driven by an insatiable bloodlust? Or was he something far more sinister, something that defied explanation? The answer, it seems, lies buried beneath the weight of time. A puzzle with missing pieces that may never be found. But the legacy of Jack the Ripper extends far beyond the unsolved mystery of his identity. He stands as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of innocence, the fragility of life, and the darkness that can lurk even in the most unexpected of places. Over a century later, the mystery of Jack the Ripper still chills us to the bone. Who do you think he was? Was he one of the suspects or someone else entirely? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history's most chilling mystery, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more true crime stories. Until next time, stay safe and watch your back.